Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cafe and Convos. I'm Macie.
And I'm Giuliana. What are you drinking today, Macie?
Today, I have an iced chai tea latte with 4 pumps of vanilla syrup and vanilla sweet cream cold foam because I had a reward. So, What are you drinking?
I'm drinking a grande iced chai latte. Nothing
Nice.
else. Light ice. Yep.
Gorgeous.
Yep, plain and simple today. I was afraid Starbucks was going to be out of everything because for those of you that don't know, it's November 17th and it's Red Cup Day at Starbucks, which means they are very, very busy today. And their website literally crashed. So
Yeah, it crashed. We weren't
Or
able to
app.
mobile order. So,
yeah.
that was fun.
And fun adventure for Macie.
For sure.
It's been a while. How have you been?
I've been good. Pretty good, How have you been?
Yeah. I could complain, but I won't.
So last time we talked a lot about mental health and the pressure that athletes and just students in general face.
Yeah.
And at the end we kind of started to talk about how school and work and sports and everything has plays a role in that, and how high school it's such a big change.
Yeah.
Giuliana, what was the change from middle school to high school for you?
The change actually was not that drastic. It was pretty smooth. I thought it was going to be a lot bigger of a deal than it actually was, because you see on TV and movies it's oh my god, high school is this big thing, but it really is not. There were a lot of people there to help me along the way, so I thought the change was literally so smooth.
That's good.
Yeah. And my freshman year, my friends were the same as they were in middle school, so not much change there.
That's good.
Not till later. What was the change from middle school to high school for you?
I mean, it was kind of what you said, except the friends thing was a little different. I didn't really have friends I didn't have many friends in 8th grade I did have friends going from 8th grade to high school, but as soon as we got to high school, all my friends changed, if that makes sense. But I was still happy. COVID kind of ruined it, but
yeah,
it was an easy transition.
No, yeah, I agree. COVID definitely changed a lot. Me personally, I became a whole different person after.
So did
quarantine.
I feel like I did too.
How'd you change?
Well, my mental health changed a lot. I think I was in a good place my freshman year. I really enjoyed school, and I always have. But as soon as COVID hit, I was fine at first, but everyone was happy, but I personally love school. It's an escape from boredom, you know what I mean? So hearing that we were 2 weeks off, I was all right, that's not too bad. And then as soon as the rest of school was canceled, I was just I was depressed. I had nothing to do. I had no friends. That's when some of my friends started ditch me too, was COVID. Not even ditch me. It's not we're not close anymore. It's just no one put in the effort anymore to stay in touch. And it wasn't just me. This was an experience for everyone, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, my mental health was just drained. I was depressed, and yeah.
No, I agree with everything you said. My friends also, I lost all of my friends. I ended up I don't know how, but I just stopped talking to all of them. And my personally, my depression it wasn't bad at the very beginning.
Neither was mine. Mine was I was fine at the beginning. It was in the middle.
I mean, I was sad throughout the whole thing, but it got really bad for me not after COVID, but a year later, sophomore year. Spring sophomore year was my worst time for my mental health. I was awful. I don't know why it reacted that way. But I just plummeted then. But I agree, my mental health has changed a lot because of COVID, and I just learned so much during quarantine, and it completely shaped me to the person I am right now.
Yeah, same. And it's not that I my whole perspective has changed now too because of COVID. Like, now, like, I'll never ever take anything for granted ever again. Like, lots of things are taken away from us. Our entire high school experience was like sports seasons, like stuff we'll never get to experience again. And like friends too. Like, I can't really say I lost friends. Like, some, sure, I lost, but it was more like I just like fell out of touch with them, and we became like distant. We drifted. Like, that was pretty much it. But like, it's like really like shifted my perspective. So part of me is like thankful for that, because it was kind of like a wake up call. Like,
Yeah.
start living your life. Stop taking things for granted.
Something I've actually like found very interesting is like people's comfortability levels, and how when people are in a certain spot, even though it may not be the best for them, it's all that they know. And so because they feel so comfortable there, they don't want to branch out and try new things.
Yeah, that's something like that I find interesting as well. And it's something that we see kind of every day, you know, like at like work and like work environments. That's like a normal thing.
Yeah. Like I know a lot of people that don't love their job, but they stay there because it's their job and that's all they know.
Exactly. And it's like they're just like used to that like environment.
Yeah.
And that could be a school thing too, you know? Like,
yeah.
Like, a lot of kids don't like school, and like this is like not a good example, but like some kids like are given the opportunity like to drop out if they want to, but at the same time they're like, no, like I need to stay, like this is all I know, like it's school, like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like that thing. Or like with transfers and stuff like that, like if kids are having a hard time and like they won't transfer because like of their comfortability levels, it's like this is all they know, even though it might not be the best for them. It's just like in their brain.
Yeah, I agree. And also you can see it within school with friendships or just like peer-to-peer relationships and whatnot. Especially in like a relationship, like people won't leave their significant other even if they should, because it's comfortable and it's all they know.
Yeah, that's a good example too. And like part of it is fear too, I think. Like it's scary like doing something that you're not used to. Yeah. It's scary like
new is very scary.
Yeah, like it takes a lot of courage to like try something new and like get out of your comfort zone. So
no, I'm even one to struggle with that as with branching out as well, because like I said, I've lost a lot of my friends, and all it would take was me reaching out to like anybody. I'm sure like if I reached out to a majority of the people in the grade, like we would start talking and being friends, but like I just don't want to, and I'm just too scared to.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, it's kind of like once you're not used to doing it, you get used to not doing it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Like, that's how it kind of is for me, too. Like, the whole COVID thing, when, like, I lost touch with people, like, obviously it goes both ways. But I feel like I did more than, like, other people did.
Yeah.
I tried to keep it going in most cases, but it just kind of died out, and I just like stopped trying, and I just haven't tried again since, if that makes sense.
It does, because at some point it just like makes you so uncomfortable. And then you like, that kind of happened to me too, but like I think it was like split, like we both stopped.
I think part of it kind of helps, like, not that it's fun, but going through like a breakup, like with a friendship, if that makes sense. Like, because then it like shifts your like mindset, but also your perspective, and it like makes you realize like who deserves your time and who deserves your effort, and like it makes you realize your worth and like how you should be treated, if that makes sense. Like part of that is good.
Yeah, I do.
But not fun.
No, it's not fun, but I do think like every person in your life is there to teach you something.
Yes.
Like from every friendship you've ever had, there's a lesson that you learn.
100%.
Whether you want to keep being friends with that person and you're just not, or like you drift. Like I recently lost like a really close friend, and it hurt, but like I learned things from being friends with her that I probably wouldn't have learned without her. So I'm very appreciative that I had that in the first place.
Yeah, like that's just an example right there. Like, it's like good, but like not, if that makes sense. Like it's helpful.
Yeah. Oh yeah, another like really interesting thing is like looking at things from psychological perspective. So like obviously there's something psychologically going on with comfortability and whatnot. And so there was this study that we had to do for AP Psych over the summer. The case was called The Power of Conformity by Ash. And it was like to understand social norms better, which it like has to do with this, and it's very interesting. Basically they just had like a group participation, and they had a group of people just constantly pick the same answer, and then there was one person who didn't know what was going on, and they wanted to see if the person would choose the same answer as everyone else just because everyone else said it. Basically, it showed that we will purposely do things we know are wrong to conform with a group, and that people have a hard time being an individual.
That's like so true. You can like apply that like to anything today. Like,
Yeah.
that's always been a thing, and it's not like you see that all the time today. Like, people are too afraid to just be themselves or be different. It's like everyone has to fit in.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like I personally do have a hard time fitting in. I personally have a very hard time fitting in, or feeling like I do.
I understand what you mean. Like, another thing is like in humanities, what we're doing is like the subcultures and countercultures. Like, it reminds me of that. Like, I personally don't think that I would fit into like the basic white girl like subculture. Like, not to like not to like hype myself up, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I just don't see myself fitting there. So like, if that's what like fitting in means, then no, I don't think I fit in.
I honestly don't even know what it means to fit in, but I just constantly feel like I don't.
I don't think that there's a right
There isn't
answer like to fitting in. There's not a right, like, how do you say, like,
there isn't one way of fitting in.
Exactly. Like, everyone fits in their own way, and people don't realize that. Like,
yeah.
And you see it sometimes here. There are some people here that aren't afraid to like be their own person, which is good. It's good seeing like people like do what they're comfortable with here. But it doesn't happen too often. Like,
yeah.
It like it relates to like cliques too.
Yeah. I personally have like a really hard time being myself in front of people, and like I don't know why I do it, but like I'll like mask myself and just be like a different version of myself.
I get that.
Actually, sorry to relate this to Taylor Swift, but there's a song called Mirror Ball, and basically the point of the song is saying that there are mirror balls in like the middle of dance floors, and they shine and they're constantly breaking, but like it's like you have to be a different version of yourself for different people. Like, I watched like this thing she did on Disney Plus for the album, and she was talking about how you have to be a different person at work, at school, at home, with friends, with different friends. Like, you have to constantly change yourself for people. I mean, some people don't actually have to deal with that, and they're just themselves 24/7, but like it's what's the word, duplicity or something.
That's like a good message. I mean, it's true. Like I've seen it with my friends too. Like, you know, when you first meet someone and it's like you would never expect them to just like do certain things or act a certain way, and then you get closer and closer and closer with them, and they just get more comfortable with you, and it's like you see what they act like at home versus with like friends or like at school. I think that is the thing with everyone. I think like most people experience that.
Yeah.
Because obviously you're going to be more comfortable with someone like your family that you're with every day. That's all you've known. You've grown up with them. You live with them every day, versus kids that you met like and are with like 5 days a week. That's still a lot, but like it's still different. You're not that comfortable with them as you are like with your family.
Yeah. And like another thing is like there are like school friends and like your real friends. I personally don't have a difference. My school friends are my only friends. Like, it's a problem. I don't hang out with people outside of school.
I think a lot of us experience that as well, because like at the same time this is like kind of like contradicting what I just said, but like as I said, family is something that we only know. Like, it's like the only thing we know growing up. But at the same time, when it comes to like friends in school versus outside of school, friends in school is all you know because you're with them like almost every day. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically we think comfort levels in high school are very interesting, and they just constantly change, and everyone's constantly changing. It's so interesting how everyone's always evolving, especially now because we're so young.
Yeah, I think it's also something that like we don't notice a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but when you really like think about it and like go into depth about it, it's very interesting, and you can see that change happening a lot.
Yeah.
All right, well, that was all for today, and it was nice talking to you guys, and we'll see you next month.
Thanks for listening. Have a nice day. Bye.
Bye.